Coming to you live on location, this is the Between the Benches podcast, where we will discuss anything and everything hockey related. Let's drop the puck and get the action underway.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome into the Between the Benches podcast. As always, it's your boy Dak. Hope everybody's enjoying their week. We're almost to Friday. We're around the eve of Memorial Day, so allow us from Between the Benches to be the first to wish everybody a happy Memorial Day. Shout out to all the veterans out there. I think that's what Memorial Day is for like for veterans and all that stuff. But it's technically National Grilling Day, if you ask me, but we'll get into that later. Joining me, as always, are my Canadian colleagues of Big Canada Daddy Brock Finch and Hotel Stay in Grandfa. How are we, fellas?
New background, same
yeah,
job.
Nice. Nice. Big Canada Daddy, how are we?
It's always a pleasure. I'm always happy to be here,
nice.
especially with the news we got today. You know.
Oh, okay.
Just
Big
happy
news.
As a pig in shit. Let me tell you,
Nice.
This is gonna be a quick one, right, Graham?
Right? Yeah.
The Chicago hire.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll get into that. Don't get too far ahead of me.
Graham is the king of jumping around.
Well, we are brought to you by Old City Sports Network. Feel free to join us in the chat as well. We are live currently on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. We are brought to you by Old City Sports Network. Make sure to check out oldcitysports.com. Use the promo code OldCity for 15% off site-wide. They got all your blogs, your podcasts, everything in between. You can also use our promo code BENCHES15 for 15% off on the merch store. But yeah, welcome in, everybody. We are happy to be with you. As Graham said, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the action because we got a quick one up for grabs, apparently. Let's go around the ring, shall we? This is sponsored by IronSteelThreads.com. Make sure to check out IronSteelThreads.com. Get great hoodies, shirts, other apparel. They have new designs every month. They are made here in the States. And you can use the promo code OldCity10 for 10% off. And part of your purchases go to youth hockey organizations. So good at you there. Helping people. Just like the Dallas owner offering the flight for Mark Scheifele that he kindly denied. So, but anyway, Graham, you mentioned the Chicago coaching call here. So Jeff, oh man, I'm terrible with these names. Blashill, right? Yeah. Jeff Blashill was hired by the Blackhawks. He did spend the last 3 seasons as an assistant with Tampa Bay Lightning. He was the Detroit Red Wings coach previously from 2015 to 2022. He compiled an overall record of 204, 261, and 72. He currently ranks 5th all-time in franchise history for games coached, and that's at 537, and he's also 6th in wins for the Red Wings. So, guys, flash forwarding here, I'm in the Windy City and all. Do we think this is a good hire, or do we think it's a 3 years and kind of out the door situation?
I wouldn't expect to see anything immediate. I think it's kind of a low-pressure job for being an original 6 teams coach. But given the circumstance of what the Chicago Blackhawks are on the roster, don't expect a big turnaround. If he doesn't have a winning record before with the Red Wings, now he got a coach under John Cooper, which there's reason to be optimistic for. What do you think, Brock?
I found it interesting from the point of view of this is the exact same situation he had when he took over in Detroit, except I'd argue it's even worse from a roster perspective. Like, their roster is in shambles, but assuming, and I think everyone does, grow and learn on the job, and I like to think of myself as a lifelong learner, try to always be inquisitive and improve. And assuming he's done the same here, I think with his second crack, he'll do a better job. Do I think that he's the coach that when they inevitably push to win in the playoffs, is he going to be the guy? I don't know. I don't have a fortune. I'm not a fortune teller. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know how that's going to look. But obviously they thought he did a good enough job with the Detroit youngins. Larkin spoke pretty highly of him. And, Larkin's pretty good at hockey. I'll take his word for it. So I was intrigued with him using his second chance, maybe not second chance, his second, head coaching gig on the exact same kind of situation as his first. I thought that was interesting.
Definitely some parallels. A little, I don't know necessarily from a talent standpoint, but there definitely are some parallels. Ryan is in the chat. Ryan, we will definitely get to the Canes here shortly. We're not calling for Rod Brindamore's job. Don't worry. It's no worries there. We're talking about the Chicago situation, but I think it will be interesting. The the bottom of the Central is definitely up for grabs as far as the Central as a whole. So maybe they can climb their way out of the basement. To your point, though, I think they're just looking for progress. Just somebody to come in and mesh with the young guys, hopefully get them going in the right direction, and just show a little bit of progress. So we'll see what happens.
You can't have happen last year happen again. It can't be that bad.
And there's a lot of young defensive talent in Rockford that is not talked about enough, in my opinion. They did get reverse swept in the AHL playoffs not about a week ago to the Admirals, right? Because that's Nashville's AHL team. Yes. But go ahead, Graham. I think you had something to say.
One thing I did notice with Blashill is he actually won a championship with the Grand Rapids Griffins before coaching Detroit. So, he's done well. Typically, the AHL is a little younger. So he does have a good voice with that kind of demographic. So hopefully it translates to today's Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah, and we've talked in length, too, about the carousel that this league usually provides for head coaches. I mean, for him to last 7 years with one franchise, regardless of what that franchise was, he had to be doing something right. So hopefully that can translate over to the Blackhawks, because God knows that us Chicagoans, we need a sports team to get behind because we don't have any of them. I don't know if you saw.
Don't expect playoff success. I'm just looking at it right now. He has one round of playoff experience.
Well, now he's with Tampa.
No,
as a head coach.
As
a head coach of Detroit?
Fair enough.
He has only ever coached for Detroit and Tampa. Head coach of Detroit, assistant for Tampa.
Yeah.
So he must have been
He was like you gotta remember, it's been 10 years since Detroit has made the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to wrap my head around.
He was an assistant coach for Detroit in 2011, 2012, and then head coach in 2015, 2016. In between that stage, he was the head coach of the Grand Rapids Griffins.
Todd Federick.
I don't know who Todd Federick is, but apparently he looked like him. So shout out to Ryan. We appreciate you being in the chat. Thanks for stopping by. The next thing I had up for grabs, and I got to give a shout out to our Canadian here, one of our Canadians, and that's Graham, for this title. We have Shanahan being relieved. So unfortunately, Toronto has decided to part ways.
So stupid.
Part ways with Brendan Shanahan. He will not be coming back as part of the Toronto Maple Leafs organization. He did spend the past 11 seasons with the team. He is responsible for the core four, if that's what you want to call him. I did see a report today that he is possibly interviewing with the Islanders to become, one of their next. I don't know if it's president of hockey ops or GM or maybe both of the same thing, in my opinion. But Brock, since you're our resident Leafs homer, first of all, how do you feel about this? And second of all, is there someone that you feel is like a slam dunk? This person needs to be hired. Give them a blank check to come in and fix this team.
Okay, I'll start with my feelings. This had to be the easiest decision that the MLSE, Major League Sports and Entertainment, that they will make, I think, in this entire process. You simply could not logic your way into bringing this guy back. He's the reason that the Dubas situation played out the way it did, and he's the reason that Marner is now walking away and you're not getting anything for him. He is the reason for this entire debacle. He's the reason they kept everything together from 2021 onwards after the Montreal implosion. I don't know. And if you're upset with this decision, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm at a loss for words. Now, as for replacements, I will make light of the fact that I really do just shit on Ken Holland whenever I get a chance, but I can't bring myself to think anything else other than Ken Holland's off the board. It can't be that bad. I don't know who the obvious one is to bring in, but I'm just happy it's not Ken Holland. I don't know why. Good luck.
You really are a Ken Holland.
I really am. I don't know why I hate him so much, but I do.
Okay. Well, he lucked his way into everything,
He did, in my opinion. I will mention Tavares walking for nothing is also not something that's like I shouldn't not mention it. Like, Tavares walking away, having been frankly just a good soldier the whole way along, captain most of the time he was here, and the way that's ending too is also pretty unfortunate, I guess would be the best way to put it. I don't.
Big
really know how else.
Big Z is back in the chat. He's asking if Marner is 100% gone or is it still up in the air. I know there's some contract stuff on the board, but I wasn't sure if anything is official.
He has allegedly ruled out some Canadian markets. So I don't think Toronto's officially ruled out, but if he does not stay in Toronto, do not expect him to be on the north side of the border.
Toronto cannot you cannot run it back. Even at a reduced number, I don't think you can.
Losing Tavares isn't running it back, though. I think you can lose Tavares and keep Marner and not count it as running it back.
No, I do. No.
That bad, eh?
We disagree.
Bad. Okay.
There's no world at this stage where I can justify it or logic my way into that decision.
All right, so Big Z, pick your favorite between Brock and I, and then that's your answer.
Yeah, right. I was going to say, well, and that's the other, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess you're right. Like you really can't bring this core back anymore. It's been 9 years. You just can't do it. You literally can't do it anymore.
They've given you no evidence that it works.
I am going to be very interested to see who they bring in to fill that spot, and especially how they go to, because obviously Berube came in and they did play definitely a different style of hockey, I would say, than years past. A little bit more of a defensive, I don't want to say shell, but then of course they got destroyed by the Panthers in Game 7 and Game 5. So yeah, go ahead.
There was one suggestion I heard from one of my other buddies. He was curious if they kick Tree Living upstairs to be the president and then promote Brandon Pridham to GM so that they don't, because whenever his contract's up, I'd imagine he would be up for just about any GM job he could possibly want. I'm assuming that's who Dubas is actually holding out for because he's technically president and GM in Pittsburgh. So yeah. I'm just saying that crossed my friend's mind, and I liked the idea of potentially just promoting from within. And Pridham, he's the cat guru. He runs their books, and they always find a way to gymnastics their way into good money situations. So I wouldn't hate that if they did that.
That is definitely how it works with the money. Big Z did say Marner won't sell for less, so I could see. It'd be smart to get rid of him. I think he could fit in way more somewhere else. Yeah, 100%. I definitely think
he's gonna go somewhere else and win.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
Right? Could you imagine?
No, I can't. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, and then you'll be the sickest man in Canada. You'll be right there with Joe Sakic.
No, because I was right. No, I was right.
Okay.
I nailed it. I predicted.
All right, fair enough. Well, we will transition here into the last thing. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the NHL released a quarter century team. So just to let you know, I'll run through these names real quick. So for goalies, we have Martin Brodeur, Marc-Andre Fleury, Henrik Lundqvist, Roberto Luongo, Carey Price, and Patrick Waugh. So that was like your top, 6 goalies. The only snubs that I really saw on this list were either Bob or Vasilevsky. I definitely feel, it's really hard to take out any of those goalies and put those two guys in, but I think we could argue about it until we're blue in the face. Hellebuck, maybe. I feel like he hasn't been doing it long enough.
Yeah. If you had a snub, outside of one we're going to get to when we get to the skaters.
Yeah, Big Z just doesn't want Marner in Boston, by the way. That's the only place he doesn't want him to go. That's really funny.
Boston should not be buying anyone.
I don't think they should be buying anyone. Yeah,
right.
That would not be my recommendation. But if they were off this list and you thought they were snubbed, I think it's just a longevity thing. Like otherwise, Hellebuck would have to be on there. He's won the last.
Keep in mind, it's also a fan vote.
It is a fan vote.
Right. That's a fair point. That would be the only reason I think that certain players that are left off these lists.
Yeah, and I think that explains a couple of the other people on this list as well. And then you have some skaters. So these are the skaters that debuted before 2000. You have Zdeno Chara, Jerome Ngedla, Nicholas Lindstrom, Joe Sakic, Timu. Oh no, Timu.
Oh boy.
Oh wow.
Timu Solani.
There you go. I was going to say that's.
I know I've seen this name before. Timo Solani, and then Joe Thornton. Obviously, shout out to Jumbo Joe. The original dead animal on his face, I think. He made the dead animal famous before anybody else did, in my opinion. And then you have the skaters debuting between 2000 and 2010. Brock, you'll love this part. This is Patrice Bergeron, Sidney Crosby, some guy named Pavel Datsyuk, Patrick Kane, Guinea Malkin, Alex Ovechkin, and Steven Stamkos. So anybody come to mind from the 2000s or 2010s that you feel like may have been a snub?
No, Datsuk's there. We're good.
Okay. That's
When I first heard it, I kept thinking like there has to be more. Like Yager comes to mind, but the more people I looked up, they peaked in like the 90s.
Yeah, I was gonna say it had to be the
They just
25-year
happened to
window.
play.
Like
Yeah.
Yager was
millennia.
more the 90s than
Right.
Yeah,
2000s.
Lindros, like those guys.
90s.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And then we have the skaters who debuted after or debuted since 2010, and they had Leon Draisaitl, Johnny Gaudreau, Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, Austin Matthews, and Connor McDavid. So the only snub, notably, that I had on that list was probably Nikita Kucherov. I definitely feel like he should probably be on that list outside.
I will say this. The only reason Johnny Gaudreau is on that list, it's not because he's better than Kucherov in hockey.
Well, it's a fan vote. Yeah.
Yes, let's be honest.
So.
That's not a hockey skills pick there.
Yeah.
The snub that I noticed isn't necessarily a name, but you have 6 goalies and you only named 3 defensemen.
Yeah, I did notice that too. Like, where's Victor Hedman? Where is
Weber was the one.
Shea
Weber.
Weber was the one
Yeah.
that I thought.
There's
PK
so
Subban,
many.
right?
Wow.
Hey, best dressed guy in the league for my money. Well, I guess he's not in the league anymore, but hey, he's still around. So
Sure.
But yeah, we will. I think we should do more of a deep dive in that maybe in the summertime. So we'll create our own 25.
Just make our own team. Yeah.
Yes, I kind of like that idea. We'll maybe a Mount Rushmore. And so check us out on our social medias, by the way, interactive. So maybe we'll do a vote. I'll put a vote out on Instagram and we can start, maybe chatting that up and all that good stuff. So, well, here we go. Let's get into what everybody came here for. We're going to start tonight with the Ice Cats. The Ice Cats are flexing. So we're going to start in Eastern Conference. This is sponsored by decalsbyaaron.com. Make sure if you need a decal, you need anything made, you go out and you reach out to our buddy Aaron at decalsbyaaron.com. He'll hook you up. So we'll recap game 1 real quick. The Panthers handled game 1. I don't even know what adjective you want to use for game 2. We'll get there in a second. But They took game 1 5-2. It still looked like a Carolina game just because Carolina had 33 shots and Florida only had 20, but it didn't have any indication of the score. So Florida actually went 15 minutes of actual game time. When it was, I think it was 3-1. They went 15 minutes without a shot, and then literally they got a power play and they scored on the first shot they took on that power play. So that was just kind of the long and the short of it. Just a couple notes here for the Panthers. These are not updated. I'll update them in my head here. So the Panthers have now outscored their opponents. Leading after game 1, it was 17-4 in their last 3 playoff road games. So now it's what, 22-4. Yeah, 22-4 in their last 4 road games. For the Canes, this is tough, and this does include tonight's loss as well. But for the Canes, the loss marks the 14th straight loss in the conference finals dating back to 2009. So pretty tough there. Fun fact, if you like to kick people while they're down, this is a Graham stat. That's what we'll start calling this. So the Sabres most recent conference finals win was May 16th of 2007. And Carolina's most recent win was June 1st of 2006. So technically the Buffalo Sabres have won a Eastern Conference finals game before since the Carolina Hurricanes have won one.
I mean, the more the teams get eliminated in the playoffs, somehow the Buffalo Sabres seem to be looking super better.
Yeah, there's a lot of Toronto stats flying this week.
I think that this is a good time to ask my little quick question here for you, Dalton. So the last time the Hurricanes won a game in the Eastern Conference final was that 2006 run. The last time they won a game in the Eastern Conference final. Can you name who scored that game-winning goal in that series?
Is this for both of us?
Graham knows the answer. Graham knows the answer.
Brock asked me on the phone. I got it wrong.
Okay. Is this like a trick question? Is it Rod Brindamore?
It is Rod Brindamore.
Okay, I was gonna say, is this a trick question? Yeah.
Good
Other fun stat I had that I saw is after when they beat Washington, they were the first team to eliminate the NHL's leading scorer of all-time goal scoring. Obviously, since like the 90s or whatever, since Wayne Gretzky played, and the Flyers eliminated whoever Gretzky was playing for. Forgive me, I don't know, but Brindamore was the guy who scored the game-winning goal in Game 5 to eliminate Wayne Gretzky. Wow. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty wild too.
It's a nice little connection. Yeah.
So that's a fun stat there. But it's my biggest takeaway too is that they hate these teams. If they didn't like each other before, they definitely don't like each other now. There were 97 hits in the first game. And 30 total penalty minutes.
That second game was chippy.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, big takeaways from either one of you. I know Bob's is really good on the breakaway. That's another note I had written down. He is literally the breakaway king. I mean, the the Hurricanes had a couple breakaways in the first period to maybe, kind of get out on the Panthers, but he's just so good. He's just so good.
I mean, the only real big takeaway, and this is from game 2, I know we're kind of thinking game 1, but that Florida penalty kill is just like, it's quite literally like a fire extinguisher. Like you can't breathe. They don't give you time to think, set up, nothing. Their penalty kill is, you want to talk about doing studies. Everybody should be doing it like that. Oh my goodness.
I mean, both these teams had the best penalty kills of the playoffs coming into this round. Carolina led the league in penalty kill for the regular season, and their penalty kill was actually higher than Florida's in the postseason.
In the playoffs. Yep. I think they started like 18 of 18 before the Capitals scored in, I think it was like game 2 or game 3 to finally break through. But yeah, it's
stats like that make me just, how the fuck are Florida just manhandling this team?
Yeah.
Like, how is it like they don't even look like they're in the same league? Like,
well, the first game
was
was
the
better
same
than the
thing
second
last
game.
year.
Yeah.
It was the
well,
same.
no, they played the
I guess
Rangers
not really.
last year. Yeah, it was 2023 is when they played last time.
Man, like, it's impressive. It's impressive, man.
Do we expect it to continue?
I mean, I don't see any reason why it won't continue. I mean, that was they're not. I mean, Carolina had like 20 shots tonight.
They don't have an answer for this Florida team. I haven't seen
17 shots.
Christ, the Leafs had more pushback in certain games of the series. Like, they didn't look like they were in the same league tonight from when I was watching.
Yeah, they just physically looked outmatched in that game. I mean, just every aspect of it. We did have a couple guys leave game 2 early. And last thing before we jump back into game 2, I think one of the keys for this series I thought was going to be kind of goals from distance, like who can actually score from, kind of the blue lines. Because going into the first game of the playoffs, Carolina led the postseason in goals by defensemen, or I guess from perimeter shot goals. They had 11 goals, and then Florida had 6, which they were 1 and 2 respectively. So we kind of knew they'd be physical and be kind of crowding the net. So I figured maybe the difference would be who can get a shot in from maybe, kind of those perimeter looks. And it doesn't really matter. Florida's just taking it to them, whether it's around the net or not around the net. It doesn't matter. So we'll jump into game 2.
I was like, game 2. No, this is on game 2. If Aho doesn't get any supplemental discipline for the hit on Reinhart, I will be very curious to see how that plays out. Like that,
I can't believe Gostisbehere didn't get anything for literally taking a slap shot at Brad. I mean, I'm never one to stand up for Brad Marchand. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Please, nobody take that out of the context.
He had to get, and he didn't get anything. That's ridiculous.
He didn't get anything. Nothing. Not even like a talking to.
At least fined. Fined.
He takes a slap shot at Brad Marchand from literally 100 feet.
He even admitted it.
Yes.
He even admitted it. Like, which was the crazy part. Like, bro, you confessed to the crime. 100%. I don't understand why. Maybe
they
that's
threw out fines for way worse.
Well, way less.
Yeah.
Dude, what did Nick Cousins?
Jay Ben got $5,000.
No, Nick Cousins got fined $25,000 in the first round against Leafs for chipping a puck at Stolars in warm up. Yeah. Are you joking?
That's tough.
Mickey Mouse League. Mickey Mouse.
And welcome everybody in our chat, by the way. We had some people join, so shout out to everybody. But yeah, game 2 tonight. Panthers obviously dominate the Canes 5-0. Cumulative score, in case anybody was wondering, through 2 games, if you can't do math, I had to take my shoes off to count this high, but it's 10-2. And it was 13-6 in the regular season in favor of the Panthers. So this is like the one series that has translated from the regular season to the postseason. Here's another fun stat for you. Florida has 18 different skaters this postseason with at least a point. So I believe that leads the playoffs. Sam Reinhart did leave the game with a lower body injury after a hit from Aho. So that could be, I don't think it's going to make a big difference in this round, but he is a really good penalty killer. He's one of their best scorers, obviously. So that might have a lasting impact. The Cats were 2 of 2 on the power play. They're also plus 24 this postseason in goal differential, which is just crazy to me, especially with the team. They've played the Lightning and the Leafs, and they're plus 24. Think about that.
Well,
yeah. Graham, is this the best third line in hockey? Is this what really is separating them, or is it just like the whole team?
I think Florida is very deep. I think Dallas is the only team even remaining that's even close to the depth that Florida has.
Even from a defensive standpoint,
they have 3 first lines. Like that's the long and the short of it.
I think Lundell is very underrated.
Yes.
I think he's an incredible defensive center.
100%.
Even two-way, not just defensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Lundell is like Barkov light. He's like Barkov light.
Yeah.
And I think Lisserainen needs a little more love.
Yeah.
He's very underrated. He leads the postseason right now in plus minus, by the way. He is plus 12, and he leads the postseason. He wasn't even plus tonight. He was a 0. They didn't even need him. The whole line was a 0.
Yeah,
tonight.
the whole
Plus
line
minus
didn't even
rating.
show up tonight, and they won 5-0.
They didn't even need him. So, oh man, somebody ugly. What is it? Ugly Aaliyah? I can't see it. My screen is sideways. It says time for a new coach in Carolina on our Instagram chat. So they're already starting.
I have a hard time with that. Like, let's wait and see. We're only halfway. Like, they've only lost 2 games. It's not.
Well, Eddie
Olczyk, coaching in the playoffs takes a lot of adaptation, and the fact that they haven't won a game in this many Eastern Conference Final attempts.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Can he adapt when he needs to? He's great at the system he creates, but can he deviate from it to help his team get over the hump?
I think it's safe to say Florida's figured out your system value. You got to change something. Like they've figured something out.
100%. Are we disrespecting and forgetting about Bob, by the way? Maybe not disrespecting, but are we forgetting about Bob? He did have his 6th career playoff shutout this evening, and it's his 3rd of the postseason.
I mean, I'll give him his flowers. I've shit on him a bunch in the past for his contract, not his play. But yeah, no, Bob's doing what is expected of him. Like that's maybe why we're not, talking about it that much. Bro, you're paid $10 million to stop the puck. Good job. You're stopping the puck.
I mean, you can hate on all you want. He's got a cup.
As soon as they won the cup,
that
contract was like immediately nice. What's up, Luke? And to say, as soon as they won the cup, that contract was immediately like, yeah, who cares? Yeah. Nobody cares. Nobody cares when you win. Nobody cares when you win. When you win, everything is right. You did it right. Look him up. I'm going to look him up.
Yeah, he did play in the NHL apparently.
I will as soon as we're done.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
I will look him up.
But okay. So Graham, moving forward, if you were Rod Brind'Amour, what's the X factor moving forward for the Canes? Like, because they got to go to Florida, and basically, I loved how I think is it Eddie Olczyk, right? He's on the broadcast. He's like, you got to go to Florida and win a game 1-0. That's literally what it looks like right now for them. That's the only way it looks like they can win is to win 1-0.
Carolina's been really good at insulating Freddie and whoever's in between the crease. So I think Florida's done a really good job of finding a way to get the pucks to the net in a dangerous way. And so you have to insulate them. You can't focus on scoring every chance you have. You have to limit the chances that you give up. And Carolina's already a shot volume team. They're going to shoot from whenever they get a chance to the net. And they're going to try and make it dangerous, and it will go in.
I mean, that strategy did not work tonight.
It hasn't worked yet.
It
hasn't worked yet.
Terrible.
They also did not do that good of a job of insulating Freddie either.
Did anybody team this as a can't lose for Carolina tonight, by the way, or was it a must win for Carolina? Did we differentiate those yet? I thought it was a couldn't lose.
I still don't understand the difference. Like you're saying the same thing.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, Brock, moving forward from a Cats perspective, obviously the health of Reinhart is going to be very crucial. Looking forward into the next couple of games, is it just all ships forward as far as you're concerned for the Panthers?
All gas, no breaks, if you will.
Yeah.
No, I think that like whatever, they're hitting all the high notes, man. Like just keep playing that same tune.
Is there any adjustment you would make if you were Carolina as far as how to beat Florida?
I'm not nearly as intelligent about hockey as Rod Brind'Amour, so I think that if he is as good as he has shown at coaching, he will adapt and figure out something to do differently. I don't know if you can make a massive adjustment in structure or style of play. Like you can't go away from the chip and chase / shoot from everywhere mentality. I don't know if you can make it that drastic of an adjustment, but I do think that you have to make some subtleties around the edges to at least give yourself a chance. But yeah.
So one thing I think it goes. The one thing I was going to say transitioning into it was with Carolina heading to Florida. Florida now has last line change, so they get to dictate the matchups. And I think that can kind of insulate the absence of Sam Reinhart should he be out long term. So I think the only thing Carolina has going for them is that they're going to shuffle around Barkov's line, and they have to fill that hole, so they get a little less depth. But I don't think depth is the reason they're losing this series right now.
That is correct.
That's very fair. Deferrod is in our Instagram chat, and he brought up the best segue because he says, "Do you guys think the Stars can take Game 2 as well?" And I think that's a great segue. I think it's a great segue. We will get into the Shooting Stars here. This is brought to you by CustomConcessions.net with the Western Conference preview or Western Conference recap. If you need any kind of food truck help, check out CustomConcessions.net. Let them know that your friends at Between the Benches sent you. As far as the Stars go, I mean, I think that's a backbreaking loss for the Oilers. I think it's a great question by Dufferrod. I'm just going to pose the question now. I think Game 2 is a can't lose for Edmonton.
Why is it? Why can't lose and not must win?
I think it's a can't lose because if they do lose it and then go home, I feel like all the magic is gone. Like, obviously, a series doesn't start until the home team wins, right? We all know that adage. But the way they lost Game 1 to make sure that they keep the morale, they only had 3 guys on the whole team get points in that game, by the way, when they lost 5-3. And it was McDavid, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Leon Draisaitl. So literally, like two of the guys you obviously expect to get points. Nugent-Hopkins is, a good player in his own right, but I mean, nobody else literally registered on the scoreboard. Like, it was just insane. So I just feel like they need to have a team effort. Even if I hate to say, like, even if they lose, but if they have a team effort, maybe it gives you some good vibes. But then the way they lost that game, I feel like you can't have you have to split at home with them. You have to split in Dallas for Edmonton, I believe, to have any kind of shot in this series.
I mean, which Stuart Skinner is going to show up? Is it the guy that wasn't allowed to play in LA because he blew it? Or is it going to be the Stuart Skinner that helped get them to where they are right now by closing out?
How much of that was on Stuart Skinner, though? I'm not saying I'm absolving him of all blame, but dude, 5 goals in the third period? Man, that can't just be the goalie. Come on.
I mean, are you going to put it on McDavid or Draisaitl? Like, who are you going to put it on? If not the guy solely responsible for keeping
why
it
does
on
it
that
have to
side
be?
of the goal?
Why does it always have to be the goalie, though? Like, I don't know.
It's his job.
This poor man has been put through the friggin' ringer.
Like, it has. I mean, because by the way, Calvin Pickard is not available. That was my next point.
Okay.
He wasn't even the backup. It was Oliver
Evan Rodriguez, or not Evan, or
Oliver
Rodrigue.
Oliver Rodriguez. Yep. So the man that defeated the harmonicas, he can't even defeat the fake breasts. So
wow,
he won't get a chance to. Well, what else does Dallas know? They bring out the big guns in every sense of the word.
Sure do. Sure do.
So, like I said, they lost that game. Edmonton.
I definitely think
3-1,
that Dallas
4
can
minutes
win.
later, gone. Go ahead, Graham.
Yeah, I definitely think Dallas can win. I think they're the deeper team. I think Draisaitl and McDavid are going to be hard to contain no matter who's up against them. But they're on the same line, so they're dangerous for 20 minutes of the game. Now, then with Evander Kane, their depth is also doing very well.
That's the first game that their depth hasn't really showed up, so I'm not worried about that. I think you'll see a similar performance without the defensive implosion of Game 1. I think that the series is far from over.
Okay.
I would not expect another implosion from Edmonton at all in this series. Like, that's just.
I expect it to be as exciting.
Well, for all intents and purposes, we did think it was going to be exciting, and boy, did that Game 1 deliver on that forefront.
Yeah,
absolutely delivered.
Dufferrod did mention the Oilers are an incredible hockey team. The Stars aren't the Kings or the Golden Knights, though, which is correct. They have been playing. Like you said earlier, Brock, maybe it's Grant, but they are literally the most complete team as far as depth, and probably the only team. They're definitely the only team that can match Florida. That's for sure. Other fun stat from this. Go ahead.
No. Let's do some more stats. I have an X factor though for later.
Gotcha. I was gonna say it obviously they had a 3-1 lead. Dallas erased that 4 minutes into the third period, and then literally less than 6 minutes into the third period, they had the lead and never relinquished it. Fun fact: the Stars became the first team in NHL history to earn multiple wins in regulation after being down by 2+ goals in the third period in the same single playoff year. So the cardiac comebacks, if you will. 10 different Stars did register a point in this game. They were led by Tyler Seguin, who had 3. Dallas, I think this was the big X factor as well. They were 3 of 4 on the power play last night. Edmonton was 1 of 3 in game 1. And as far as X factor moving forward for both teams, Brock, what do you got?
So let me set this up real quick. It's pretty quick and dirty, pretty simple to understand. We agree that their forwards, we maybe give a slight edge to Dallas, but both are very deep at forward. D-cores, I would argue they're essentially the same. Maybe you give an edge to one team or the other based on how you feel about Heiskanen versus Bouchard. At least that's my interpretation.
Wait, that's a competition? Do you think that's even a discussion?
I think so.
Really? I know. I think that's Miro Heiskanen, no questions asked. No way.
I mean, from a complete
standpoint, yeah, that's not even a question. Maybe offensively, you can maybe have an argument. We can sit and argue about it.
But that's why I think
from a total player standpoint, there's no
Evan
way.
Bouchard is like an absolute weapon, like offensively. Off the puck, yeah, lots to be desired there. But I digress. A little bit of a liability. I digress. So again, I think very similar on defense. Then you get to the goaltending. And that's where I think this series wildly diverges in comparison. Ottinger has been – you can make an argument he's been just as good as Rand. Ottinger's been great in this postseason so far. I don't think he's getting enough praise. So if you want an X factor, like the goaltending is where I have a hard time picking Edmonton. Because while I don't think they're going to implode with 5 in the third again in this series, a softie here, a softie there, it's entirely possible. It's almost likely.
I mean, Dallas has 5 more power play goals than the next leading playoff team.
Jesus.
And I was looking up Conn Smythe picks. Go ahead.
The Oilers are 15th in the postseason for penalty kill.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
I think this really comes down to special teams. The Stars, I mean, we talked about Florida and Carolina with the PK. Stars are 3rd.
Yeah.
Now, we know that Edmonton's power play is going to be tough to contain, but right now Dallas's power play is outdoing it. So they're beating in every asset of the special teams.
Right. And early in the series, that definitely plays more of a factor because we know what happens as, the series progresses, the whistles get quieter. In fact, in most cases, they just disappear. And special teams start to play less of a factor. So, yeah, early on, edge to Dallas. That's a very good point. I like that. I like where your head's at there, G baby.
No, for sure. And the other thing right now with the Conn Smythe, Mikko Rantanen is still the favorite at plus 350. Sergei Bobrovsky has entered the chat. He's at plus 370. He's got the second shortest odds, followed by Connor McDavid at plus 500. And then Jake Ottinger is 4th at plus 900. And then rounding out the top 5, Alexander or Sasha Barkov at plus 1,000. Sasha. Yeah. Leon Draisaitl plus 1,400 may not be a bad value pick right now either, if you really wanted to go some value. But yeah, as far as moving into game 2, Graham, do you see as far as like an X factor, or is it literally just like Edmonton just needs the depth to show up and, this could actually be a series? Because that's the way I saw game 1. If, the depth shows up.
I think if Edmonton just erases that 5-minute deficit.
That 5-minute start to the period. Yeah.
They have a 1-0 lead.
Do you think it's in the room?
No.
No.
That's fair. That's fair.
I do hope that we get a documentary with another moment of McDavid just losing his mind, though.
Right. Yeah. That would be great. That was so good. Big Z mentioned, feel like the Oilers have been inconsistent. Each player's hit or miss recently. Still a powerhouse team, but the closer and closer to the finals it gets, the scarier it looks for Edmonton. Also mentioned that I'm assuming Edmonton is by what he means by they, but they can match Florida, however, if they get consistent with every player. And then Duffelrod mentioned, as a Stars fan, I hold my breath every time McDavid touches the puck. So I think that's all of us, honestly, when McDavid plays.
You're not alone. So, you're not alone.
I was going to say, everybody twists their legs or crosses their legs, hoping they don't shit themselves when McDavid's bearing down on you. So yeah, take it from a Kings fan if we had one. I can only imagine how they feel. So, well, moving forward, Graham, do you see as far as any kind of difference? I mean, I do like Brock's point. I do think the biggest differentiator is between the pipes in this series. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, it's hard not to. Ottinger's played like he's already a great goalie, but he's already played above his class so far in the playoffs.
Okay.
Stuart Skinner, extremely inconsistent. We've seen him go on great streaks, and we have seen him might as well just play on the bench.
Yeah. 100. Yeah.
So
you might as well play with 6 skaters at that point. Eh?
I mean, if we get Skinner's best, I think the series gets a lot tighter. And I mean, that game was already tight.
Yeah.
So tight.
It ended up being tight.
2 periods.
It wasn't tight. It was very. It was like a tale of different paths.
Yeah.
But it ended up being tight.
100%. 100%. Well, we'll definitely see. Hopefully that we'll have game 2 for that tomorrow night, which is Friday night. Hopefully we'll. I'm telling you, it's must win for Edmonton. No, sorry, it's a can't lose. It's a can't lose for Edmonton. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens moving forward. Momentum is a real thing, Brock. I'm telling you right now. So.
Gonna show you some momentum.
We will nice. We will shift into our last parts of our segments here. We have to get negative, unfortunately, on this podcast. It's a weekly routine we do. In the Bin is sponsored by Warlord Beard Oil. Make sure to check out warlordbeardoil.com. Use the promo code Old Sports for 15% off. Beard oils, washes, soaps, baby oil, and more. Orders up to over $75. You do get free shipping, and Brock can attest that they have expedited shipping just in case you want to get your oils and soaps even faster. So with that being said, thank you to our great partners over at Warlord Beard Oil. Brock, who did you want to put in the bin this week?
Did we decide which one you want me to take, or do you care?
No, that's why I let you go first. You could take the one you want. Yeah, set the tone.
Set the tone. I will. So, I mean, I don't think they're ready for that yet. I'm going to put the Leafs in the bin. Now, not for the reason most people would think right off the get. I know a lot of people have been sharing the Buffalo memes, like we noted earlier. They just seem to get better and better as the trolling goes along. But the Vancouver Canucks have made the playoffs twice, and the Leafs have been there every year for the last 9 years. And I'm misreading this, aren't I? Yes. And the Canucks have more playoff wins than the Leafs do in that span, which is just
and Toronto's been there every year. Yeah.
Hilarious. Since the Matthews era began. I don't know what I every time I saw that,
you didn't have words.
I don't. Like when I saw the Buffalo stat, man, they haven't been there for 14 years and they have more. It's just bro. It's laughable. It's just laughable. Like I'm yeah.
They got so would you say you're relieved the season is over? Or
I'm going to relief all. No, I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Okay, nice. And you missed my second favorite stat, and that is also that the Maple Leafs are now they also now have the second most consecutive losses in winner take all games, and that's 8 consecutive losses. So the record is the Rangers. The Rangers have 10. And I think it was like a span of like the 40s to like the 60s. So we're talking a long, long time ago that, this is record-breaking stuff that your team is performing at. So hopefully it gets better. So Graham, who did you want to put in the bin this week?
Man, I looked at the NHL ratings and the viewership, and I got to put that in the ratings. I don't know why fans are not watching. I don't know if it's what teams are in the playoffs. But viewership on the ESPN platforms are down 28%.
Yeah. And
on TNT platforms, they're down 19%. Like these playoffs have given us nothing but gold since they began.
Yeah.
And it's a bad look.
I was going to say, do you think that's got more to do with maybe the teams or the markets? I don't know. Obviously, I'm not up in Canada and the Canadian markets. I don't know TV ratings from a calculator. So what would you be your expert opinion on that situation?
I have no idea. I don't see a difference year to year, like in terms of product. So I guess viewership
Well, I mean, we
There's
like
gotta be
hockey.
reasons.
We like hockey a lot more than the average person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're not average
We're
fans.
not qualified to answer this.
We're not
Yeah,
average
everybody in the
fans.
chat. Yeah, 100%.
We're not average fans.
No, that's very fair. That's very fair. And shout out to the chat, by the way. Big Z, we'll get to you. I'll get to your comment because he brought up Boston being in the bin, but I would argue that they get the C this week, and I'll explain why in just a second. But I wanted to put Connor Hellebuck in the bin. I suggested maybe trading him. Obviously, it was a pipe dream just because he's got a no trade clause. But for the third straight year, he finished the playoffs with a goals against above 3 and a save percentage below 89%, 0.890. So we always, I was going to say, you kind of like that 0.89 or that 0.9 number when it comes to the playoffs. You've gone back and forth off pod with me about Stuart Skinner versus Calvin Pickard, and you kind of always use that number as the baseline, Brock. So for him to be below that baseline number and for everybody to be telling me he's the best goalie on the planet, it just doesn't line up for me very much. So third straight year, you're going to tell me he wasn't that bad a couple years ago. Well, it's been 3 straight years that he's been, we'll say, mediocre, and we'll call it that. So it's a tough look for the man. I got nothing but love for the Jets fans. I love a good whiteout. Don't get me wrong. I love a good, and that's not anything racial, by the way, but I love the atmosphere, and it's a great time. So it's tough. Hopefully they can turn it around. Hopefully they can. I don't know what they need. Maybe just some luck. Maybe they just can't win the President's Trophy. Maybe that's what it comes down to. So,
or a healthy blue line.
Yeah, that would definitely help. Josh Morrissey would definitely help. So, but that was in the bin. That was sponsored by Warlord Beard Oil. Again, check out warlordbeardoil.com. Use that promo code Old City Sports for 15% off, and let them know that Between the Benches sent you. So, one of the last things we'll get into here is Getting the C, and this is brought to you by SeatGeek. Make sure to download the SeatGeek app and use the promo code Old City Sports Network for $20 off your first purchase. We did have Duffer Rod in the chat too. So Duffer Rod, if you got SeatGeek, use that promo code. Check out Game 2 down there in Dallas. He is from Texas. So hopefully you can check that out. Big Z, I think, by the way, is he said he was a Flyers fan, but I don't know where he lives at or if he's anyway. But yeah, check out that promo code Old City Sports Network for $20 off at SeatGeek. And Graham, who are you giving your C to this week?
We talk about this guy a lot on this podcast, but Paul Maurice. So the one stat, I was trying not to say it when we were talking about the Florida-Carolina series, but the Florida Panthers are now 28 or I believe 29 now and 0 when leading after any period in the postseason under head coach Paul Maurice. So if the Panthers have a lead, when that buzzer goes to end the period, just pencil them in for a win.
That's fucking nuts.
That is insane. That's obnoxious.
That's nuts.
Does that speak more to? Does that speak to the coaching? Does it speak to like the team play, the goalie? What I mean, is that
all of it?
Everything
I think everyone buys it. Everyone buys in to what Maurice is saying in the room when he says, "Guys, it is time to shut it down. It is time to shut it," and they all do it. Or guys, let's get another one.
Yeah.
They find a way to do it. It's never that easy, but they find a way to get it done.
Nice. That is very fair. By the way, Big Z mentioned earlier when we were talking about getting rid of Rod Brindamore before we had our technical difficulties. He was saying that what if they had Rick Tocchet and Rod Brindamore in Philadelphia coaching together? That would be pretty sick. I highly doubt they can make that happen, but that would be kind of sick. Yeah,
that's fun. Like both of them
going around.
Yeah, right. Men command like $5+ million a year, so that's
most expensive assistant coach in the league. That's for sure. Yeah. So, all right. Well, Brock, who are you giving your C to this week?
Okay, I saw this and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm not a big basketball fan, but here we go. So
you love numbers though.
I do. In the NBA, I'm assuming this is only in the postseason. I didn't actually clarify that, but yes, teams trailing by 7+ points in the last 50 seconds of the fourth quarter or in OT are 4 and 1,702. So they've won 4 of 1,706 games. And the Indiana Pacers of this year are 3 of those 4 wins.
Yeah. They have won every series, every round of this year's playoffs. They've had one against every team they've played.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I do not need to be a basketball fan to understand the absolute insanity that is that stat. That is just ridiculous. ridiculous. Absolutely insane. Good on
Right there in the
Pacers
heartbeat of America, baby.
getting the C. Absolutely.
Look at you diversifying this podcast. I would have never thought that a basketball stat would come over there from that guy on the far right-hand side. That's for sure. And I wish I wouldn't have screwed up in hitting the technical difficulties because I don't have that guy's name anymore that you looked alike. So
I already have it. I looked it up.
Nice.
Yeah, I have it on my.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. As soon as you're done your C, I'm putting it on the screen.
Okay, I was gonna say, does it actually work? Do you guys look alike?
I don't see it, but
I don't see it.
See.
Maybe cheekbones.
The cheekbones.
Yeah. He's got a big head. Like I got a big head now.
Pacers and Stars breaking the odds. That is very true, Duffer Rod. That is very true. So, I wanted to give my C. I'm surprised you guys didn't do this, but I'll hand out a couple C's just because I'm feeling generous.
Dalton is always the giver of most C's.
Oh, yeah. Always giving him the C. That's for sure. So Logan Stankoven is getting the first C. So the first C is going to Logan Stankoven. He joins Vile Lino as the only two players in NHL history to skate in both the Eastern Conference and Western Conference finals as a rookie. Go ahead and correct me on that pronunciation.
Billy Lino.
Okay. So yeah, shout out to Logan Stankoven. Was playing in the Eastern Conference, or he's playing in the Eastern Conference Finals this year with Carolina, and then last year was playing with Dallas in the Western Conference Finals. So pretty cool parallel there. The second C was I had Brad Marchand because he was the first player in NHL history to win 5 winner-take-all games against the same franchise. So sorry about your luck there. You could also throw the Boston Bruins. You can also give the Bruins the C too, just because they do get that extra first-round pick for that Marchand trade now that they've made it to the second round and he's played more than 50% of their games. So that was kind of the speculation. Was if the Panthers lost Game 7, they wouldn't have had to give up that second to go to a first. It just would have been a second. So shout out to the Bruins. They get a little silver lining. And then I don't know if you guys saw this. I'm sure Brock did, but William Nylander is joining Team Sweden in the quarterfinals tomorrow against the Czech Republic in the World Hockey Championship. So he is getting the C. He goes from losing Game 7 in a heartbreak fashion, by the way, and he's going to go support his fellow countrymen. I debated on this too because I was like, oh man, this guy loves hockey. He loves puck. He wants to go out there and play. But then I was like, man, he's taken somebody else's spot that literally has been playing probably the whole tournament, and now they have to sit whatever. And that person probably wouldn't make the team normally just because the playoffs are going on. And I didn't know whether to give him the C or like man, this guy's kind of a dick. I didn't know which way to lean. How do you feel about that?
I hadn't thought about it like that. I think that's an interesting way to think about it. It just shows how empathetic you are, Dalton. You just care. always thinking about the other guy, you know? Like
nice. Yeah. I was curious, like it would just suck. Like if I was that 12th guy and like all of a sudden the coach brought me in and was like, hey, by the way, you're not gonna skate in the playoff game because William Nylander decided to fly across the pond and come join us. I know that you helped us get us here beforehand, but now he's in and he's a lot better than you. And I'd be like, well, what the hell? Like, you know what I mean? So I would get it, but I'm at the same point in time, I'm like, that guy just played a whole season, you know?
I mean, he gets the medal. So if Nylander carries Sweden to the gold, whoever gets taken out, he still gets it around his neck. So
okay. That's fair.
And
That's
to
fair.
close us out,
Brock will now finish the statement he was going to say before.
You got to go the other way. There you go.
That is not.
I don't see it.
Let's give it to the worst internet guy.
I was going to say, if you can tell me the name, I could look it up and maybe put it on the
screen.
Todd Federuk.
I don't see it.
Okay. Maybe the hair. Here we go. I'll bring it up on the screen here.
I don't even see the hair. Like
right here, Dalton.
I mean, he's a good-looking dude, so I'll take the compliment.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
One of these
things just doesn't belong here.
Maybe like right here.
This is great podcasting.
You know,
this is great podcasting. Thanks for shout out to everybody in the chat. But we wanted to look at Todd Federuk and the Brock Finch look-alike. So, oh man. Anyway, well, we
just keep posting people we look like.
Yes, I was gonna say.
Actually, that's always fun.
Yeah,
that's always fun. Graham has a literal look-alike who is also a bowler. It's hilarious. Like
Anthony Levery's far.
You could be brothers.
What?
No,
Brandon Runk.
Brandon Runk.
Oh,
They could
I was
literally
thinking
be brothers. Like it's not even. It's hilarious. You could literally be brothers.
Nice. Yeah, the best lefty on tour according to our TikTok page.
Damn right.
So,
It's a good page.
it is a good page. Well, we appreciate everybody joining us this evening. Make sure to check us out on our social medias, everything Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, everything else in between. Feel free to reach out. We will we'll definitely get back to you with the social media team. We appreciate everybody joining us this evening. We will come back to you next week. Are we doing a Sunday show? Should we do a Sunday show? Maybe a Monday show? Maybe Memorial Days? Maybe Memorial Day show? Anybody?
Little mem day.
Yeah.
I am still traveling.
Okay. Well, where are you this week, by the way?
Why?
Michigan.
Why must you?
Northern Michigan.
What tournament are we talking? Is it regional?
Nope. Big amateur event.
Nice. Well,
Apparently
everybody's
allows
sitting there.
Professionals.
Yeah, I was going to say, everybody's sending their best wishes to Graham because apparently he needs it because he's bowling against a bunch of me's. So that would be fun. Well, fair. Well, fair enough. Well, we appreciate everybody joining us. From Brock, from Big Canada Daddy, Grandpa, myself, Dak. We are the Between the Benches podcast brought to you by Old City Sports Network, and we shall see you next time. And that concludes this week's episode of Between the Benches. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and check us out on YouTube. Also hit the like and subscribe button and look out for the next episode. Until next week, you Harley Riders.
Doc, what a fitting ending! This is incredible!